Games are a favourite pastime for many people here on the internet, but what makes a game a game?
Now, to answer that question, it's a program with code and mechanics that make up a system that emulates a challenging experience for us as gamers to play.
Now we are in a state where we understand how to make games to a fine tee, but sadly some developers don't understand some basic features that should be in most, if not all, games.
So welcome to the top 12 game features that should be standard.
Skippable cutscenes. Games can often contain some sort of story or single-player adventure mode. However, the amount of games that have a good story in them nowadays isn't too common, as most games tend to follow the trends of Call of Duty or other popular adventure games have set behind creating something of a cliché. Where there are plenty of games out there with absolutely jaw-droppingly amazing stories, a simple fix to the not-so-good stories would be just pressing pause and then pressing skip, or just hitting any kind of button and skipping the whole cutscene altogether, and I think that could work. But sadly, some developers can't get it through their damn heads that they aren't Edgar Allan Poe or the next John Steinbeck, and would rather have you be forced to sit and watch the boring bits of a game and making you waste all the time to get to the good bits. And in most of these cases, it's usually the awful stories that never let you skip, so you know what, that's just swell. And this can be especially true when you're replaying a certain game and don't want to watch the cutscenes again. Like I said, most games can do this, and it's usually the ones with amazing stories that let you skip, but to the awful ones with the awful stories that don't let you skip, fix it please.
Proper physics engines. If you enjoy playing Risk of Rain, you will know what I'm talking about. In some games, they link the speed of the enemies to the frames per second, as well as general physics of the game. Now the thing is, if you're playing the game and it dips, welcome to Lag City. Or if you're well on a better computer than most people, let's say you enjoy playing your game in hyperspeed mode. It's incredibly frustrating when developers do this, considering that everyone's system varies, and it can make online play unfair and unplayable. Make sure you fix your INI to have a limiter.
Autosave. If you're like me, I tend to get caught up in a great game to stop and save every once in a while. But when your game crashes, your batteries run out, or your power gets cut, or your friend's just a jerk and shuts off the game, you should be able to rest easy knowing that the game automatically saved since your last major thing you did. I'm sure we all know how irritating it is to lose hours of progress only to have to do it again. Those of us who've played Bethesda games knows this all too well. Autosave has become an integral part of our gaming experience, and it lets us know that most of our hard work and challenges has been successfully saved, so we can take a break from the game to work on something else. Autosaves aren't without their faults, however, meaning that an occasional glitch where the game autosaves when you're a nanosecond from being killed, or the save file somewhat corrupts right before it's about to save. Now, those can be bad things, but even then, it should autosave or be a standard feature in gaming today.
A field of view slider. Field of view, something that is very important for PC first-person games. There are many people out there that get sick if the FOV is too thin. The ease with which field of view changes can be implemented into a game must presumably vary depending on the graphics engine used and whether it's tied to specific animations. It'll not only make your game world feel more expansive and less cramped, but also make the title bearable for anyone who suffers from motion sickness. Development time aside, there's literally no downside to including field of view options, and instead, a great deal to gain from appreciative players.
Audio and video settings. The music is too loud, but the voices are too quiet. You go to the settings and all you see is a single slider for volume, if you're lucky. The game is too dark, and I can't change the gamma of the game without ruining the optimal gamma setting on my monitor or TV. Or, the game looks ugly, but your super awesome $5,000 PC could easily make it look a lot better, but you can't change how the game looks at all.
Tutorials. Tutorials are in most every game now. Now they may be suggestive or may be right in your face. Some are poorly done, or some are like Portal where they're done so well, you don't even know they're there, and in this case they actually make up the majority of the game. Sadly, some games do not put any kind of suggestion or hint into what you're supposed to be freaking doing. In the early days of gaming, all you had was a manual, and even then they cocked up sometimes. For a game not to feature a tutorial is damn near absurd in this business, and it should be a standard in this day and age.
Colorblind mode. Colorblind people are a part of the gaming community, believe it or not. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? However, in all seriousness, we need to show some support for the people born with disabilities in the eye. And for them, normal game settings could make the thing look obscured or blurred for them. So something to help adjust those settings for these people really helps out a lot and shows us growing as a community.
Re-Bindable keys. Hey everyone, do you like playing video games? Do you like being able to pick them up and have everything feel natural to you? Well, sadly, not all games can do that. However, here's your easy fix. Re-Bindable keys is our magic term everyone should know. Now, sadly, some developers can't get it past their thick skulls that not everyone can play the game in the configurations that they have presented, which leaves you, and most players, alienated, and ultimately will never pick up the game again. Now this is a feature that I really think should be standard. I mean, like, think, what if you're left-handed, or somehow the developer screwed up the controls and made it in a completely awkward way to begin with? With Re-Bindable keys, that flaw is fixed. However, without them, the game just feels broken or constrictive.
Windowed mode, borderless windowed. My monitor is huge and I don't want my game to cover up my entire screen. I want to be able to watch a video and be able to quickly switch back to my game when needed be. It's too bad my game is only full screen, so I either have to quit the game or wait 50 hours for it to go back to my desktop by alt-tabbing and risk the game crashing. Darn it, Fallout, I just want to check my video and go back to the game.
Tooltips. Hey guys, you see these little symbols? Yeah, right there. Yeah, you see that? Well, do you know what it does? No? Well, then you're as clueless as the rest of us. Because sometimes devs just assume that every gamer knows that, like a circle with a line through it means, no, we don't know. And that's why tooltips are needed. Tooltips are a little thing that pops up and tells you what a button does on Photoshop, as well as most games. However, some games do not, and it can be really frustrating trying to figure out just what in the hell is going on with the UI, or even just the main menu. This is why tooltips are needed if you include symbols as a way of navigation through any kind of UI.
The manual. Instead of packing handy guides with the games, publishers now toss in 1 or 2 sheet pamphlets covering which buttons to press, some brief story and little else. The heart and soul of the manual, which once served as a celebration for the game, has been stripped clean. Old school gamers know exactly what we're talking about here. Instruction manuals have been with video games since the beginning, occasionally even eclipsing the game itself in terms of raw data. Falcon 4.0 and 1998 Flight Simulator boasted a manual that rang out over 300 pages. Zelda Link to the Past and Illusion of Jaya also had pages of hints, item descriptions and more backstory to the game. It doesn't hurt that today's game is somewhat more sophisticated than we were in the days of massive manuals and wonky controls. Gaming has been a part of pop culture for so long that the basics are now second nature, even to the beginners.
If you have multiplayer, have a decent netcode. Hey guys, do you like going online and having a good game? Bugger, having some lag. Okay, let's retry that. Hey guys, do you like going online to enjoy a solid evening with your friend? Oh, sodding hell! Why the hell is it that when some games come out, they either have a server issue or a netcode issue? And yes, I'm looking at you, Brink and SimCity. Before your online multiplayer games come out, you have to have a solid netcode or no one can even enjoy the game that you spent your hard-earned cash for. And it isn't just with Brink or SimCity, but even games nowadays like Battlefield 4. I can't believe I have to say this, but a decent, stable, strong netcode should be an industry standard.